There's 10 of the last 12, and we're set for the introduction of the Hertz starting lineups.
Anthony at center from the Knicks, from Georgetown, number 33, Patrick Ewing. And the forward from Virginia Union, number 34, Charles Oakley. Fellow forward from Pittsburgh, number 54, Charles Smith. Head coach Pat Riley, assistant Carter, Jeff Van Gundy, trainer Mike Saunders.
Welcome. Watch out, here we come.
And at guard for your 92-93 76ers, Iowa State, number 14, Jeff Hornacek. Fellow guard from Bradley, number 33, Hersey Hawkins. At center from Bridgeport, number 11, Manute Bowl. From Mississippi, number 30, Clarence Weatherspoon. And from UNLV, number 35, Armand Gilliam.
The introduction of the Philadelphia 76ers, and there's the coach of the Sixers, Doug Moe. They have won, as you see, 6 straight here at the Spectrum, 7 of the last 9 after a bad start at home. Doug looking very spiffy, it should be pointed out. There's Charles Smith, who has had his difficulties, has shown some signs recently of 4 out of 8 the other night against Charlotte for 10 points in 23 minutes, but Charles still trying to break out of it.
Well, Charles putting some pressure on himself verbally as well. We've got to start creating. I've got to start creating to get minutes, he said, because his minutes have been shrinking. He's got to make things happen, and he recognizes that he's got to initiate his own impact on the floor with his other 4 teammates, and got to do it without trying too hard, though, and distorting his own shooting, which I sense from time to time he seems to be trying a little too hard.
The 7'7" Manute Bol, who, since he has been put in the starting lineup, the Philadelphia 76ers have managed to win 10 out of 15, and he will go against Patrick Ewing on the opening tip. Jack Madden, David Jones, George Tolliver are the officials, and Greg Anthony controls for the Knicks. Anthony being guarded by Hawkins, Lackman by Hornacek. They double up on Smith. Ewing feeding Smith down low. So Charles Smith gets right to it.
Well, the offense was dictating Ewing to keep Bol outside so he can't block shots, and Smith to work on the shorter Weatherspoon, and it worked.
And here is Gilliam. And Smith gives it up to Ewing. Ewing played on a switch by the rookie Weatherspoon. Here's Smith. And Weatherspoon with the back tap. Here's Weatherspoon from Hornacek. Good-looking rookie. Clarence Weatherspoon, number 1 draft pick, goes 6'7", 240 pounds out of Southern Mississippi.
Very late pickup by the Knicks in their transition.
Lackman giving the Knicks a 4-2 lead. For you NBA uniform aficionados, you may have noticed the Philadelphia 76ers are wearing older style uniform. These are uniforms from the 70s. It'll be Nick Ball On a nostalgia night, the Sixers wore these here at the spectrum, came up with a victory, and Doug Moe decided, hey, let's continue to wear these uniforms that they have, and they have won 6 straight at home while wearing the old-style uniforms. Ewing going at ball and is rejected. That's what we talked about earlier. He continues to challenge Manute Bol, and has had a difficult time against him because of that foul call, a hold on Blackman.
Well, Patrick did adjust by going to the left hand, but he wasn't high enough, and he didn't have really a lead on Bol. Now, Patrick has been coming back to the right hand of late, but he bent down kind of low to get inside, and it just wasn't good enough.
Weatherspoon fouled by Smith. Nice feed from Gilliam.
Well, the championship year that these uniforms, or the similarities rather, were featured was way back in 1967. The uniform comparison that you're making. God, I can't believe it's that long ago that we saw Luke Jackson.
Weatherspoon has struggled at the free throw line, although he is up to 70%. It's the Knicks 4 and the 76ers 2. Anthony Hamling against Hawkins. Blackman with the feed for Ewing, and again he's blocked.
He tried to dunk the ball over the 7-6 Bol.
Manute Bol had 5 block shots in the overtime session against Miami the other night. Here's Bol, who will rarely look for the shot, met by Smith on the switch, and a foul is called as Hersey Hawkins was hit. Meanwhile, Charles Oakley involved was shaken up. Oakley called for the foul.
Boy, you don't see Charles show pain like that very often. He tried to position himself to draw the offensive foul. Going back to that last Ewing move inside, Knicks aware of Bol. They distribute the ball well, but Patrick feels he can go up and over Bol. Because Ewing, a 7-footer himself, rarely has that sense of being sent away like that, but he's got to know it's a different game with Manute Bol out there. It dictates some different approaches.
Hersey Hawkins, one of the better free throw shooters in the NBA. Philadelphia 76ers Wednesday night in Miami beat the Heat in overtime, 115-112. They had a triple overtime game back in November, Philly beating Miami. Sixers have played 2 straight overtimes. They have been in OT in 3 of the last 4. Oakley hitting early, and the Knicks with a 6-4 lead. In that overtime run, the Sixers have won 2 and lost 1. Gilliam being played defensively by Ewing. Matt Riley going with Charles Smith now on the rookie Clarence Weatherspoon. Here's Hornacek trying to draw the foul. Anthony pops it down to Smith, and Smith is blocked by Weatherspoon. 3 blocks by the Sixers here in the opening minutes.
What a terrific play by the 6'7" Weatherspoon. Now, Charles Smith at 6'10" gets inside, but boy, that's tough to do from behind a man.
Well, good play by Smith. Meanwhile, Ewing tried to slam one down at Bol, and as a result, he went off the rim. It will be Nick Ball.
Well, Patrick's ego is getting the better of him, and it's hurting he and the Knicks.
We talked about this earlier on Knicks game night. Blackman giving the Knicks an 8-4 lead. Patrick Ewing in his matchups with Manute Bol. Smith able to intercept. Doesn't go to any subtleties at all. He continues to go right at Bol and is turned back.
One of the big answers is to go under the basket and come back up. That's where you lose the tall defenders, when you go up and under instead of going straight up to the basket. Also, to forget the dunk, draw the foul, make the contact with the underhanded scoops.
Knicks with an 8-4 lead, 4 minutes gone by. Hawkins. Blackman able to recover defensively. Gilliam played by Oakley. Gilliam spinning in. Good move by Armin Gilliam. That's his first field goal.
I asked Doug Moe before the game why he has been playing Gilliam so few minutes lately. Very surprising to see him play 10, 12, 14 minutes in a game. He said it all depends on his intensity. If he brings the intensity on the floor, he plays. If he doesn't, he sits.
Oakley called for the foul hip check as Gilliam drove the baseline. And the intensity you talk about concerns his play at the other end of the floor usually, because defense is what Mo is looking for from Gilliam.
And Doug also finished the conversation, Marv, with a subtle reference to you can't really talk players into this. What he was saying is they react if they sit. You don't have to yell and scream. They sit, they get the message.
Weatherspoon. Block. And that is fouled. Or tied up. Let's see. No, they say tie up. So Weatherspoon, following the block, tried again, and they will jump it up. Now Oakley sits down. Mason has come on. Anthony Mason in for the first time. Charles Oakley picking up the 2 fouls over anticipation there by Weatherspoon. And they will jump it again. Jack Madden saying that was not a good toss.
Ewing should control this tip now. He's 5 inches taller than Weatherspoon, who will try and steal the tip and get up quicker than Ewing.
Again, was not a wonderful toss, and the Sixers control. Hornacek fouled by Blackman.
Personal foul, number 20, Rolando Blackman.
So Blackman has picked up his second, and Jeff Hornacek will go to the free throw line.
Very confused here, Marv. You know, looking down for the Knicks bench, and I'm seeing people sitting in normal people attire. They put the benches of both teams opposite our position on the other side of the court, so the fans can get fans at home rather can get a good look at the faces of both teams when the cameras go that way.
Yes, they have switched to across the way. Here's Jeff Hornacek, an 87% free throw shooter.
He is the leading scorer on this team. All those figures are essentially the same as he had in Phoenix, where he was the leading scorer, assist man, also steals, excellent free throw shooter. He's carried all those numbers here to Philadelphia. What a consistent player.
Game is tied at 8. John Starks has replaced Rolando Blackman. John Starks has been on a tear last couple of weeks. That began with the Western trip. Smith hits it as foul. You can hear a host of Knicks fans on hand here at the Spectrum.
Personal foul, Chrissy Hawkins, his first.
Hawkins called for the foul. Here it is.
Well, this is the distortion favoring the Knicks. Smith against Weatherspoon. Now, Smith also draws the attention of Bol, but that didn't shake his vision.
Charles Smith completing the three-point play. The Knicks 11. The Sixers 8. 5 minutes gone by. Hawkins guarded by Starks. Gilliam backing Smith. Gilliam off a double pump. He forced it. Good play by Smith. Starks. Yes. Well, they gave him too much room, and he was able to make the move along the baseline for the short jump.
The thing about Manute Bol is he doesn't quickly come out and challenge shooters. He hopes that his presence will distract them. Much of the time it does, although it didn't with Bol. And how about Ewing on that block?
Starks beating Gilliam. And the Knicks now lead 15-8. Good play by Patrick Ewing as Jeff Hornacek challenged Ewing. And now Doug Moe calls for time with 6:09 remaining. First quarter, 7 consecutive points for the Knicks. Doug Moe, 53 years old, out of Brooklyn, took over for Jim Lynam, who is now the Sixers general manager. Doug, though, playing hurt or coaching hurt. He's been hobbled by an increasingly painful right knee and is thinking about surgery that would remove him from the bench for at least a month, although he said he'd like to hold off until the end of the season. Mo's left knee was replaced with an artificial one 3 years ago, and now it's the other knee that puts him in intense pain.
Harvey did follow that story up before the game when I asked him, is Patrick Ewing wants to go to the jumper now and still can't find the touch. Said that he would definitely wait till the end of the year. Weatherspoon with no obstruction in front of him goes right in for a layup. Boy, he made that look easy.
Knicks now lead at 15-10 with 5:25 remaining in this opening quarter. Ewing given the room. So Patrick Ewing hits with the jump shot, and the Knicks now lead 17-10. Ewing is 1 for 5 from the field. Yesterday morning, Doug Moe needed a wheelchair, we're told, to reach the gate area at the a facial served up by Gilliam. Doug needed a wheelchair to reach the gate area at the airport in Miami, and an electric cart when the team flight arrived in Philadelphia. 19-12 now as Ewing is able to hit his second in a row. Doug Moe says he can tolerate pain pretty good, but this is worse than he's ever had before.
Well, as he said, there's no more ligament there. It's bone on bone.
Well, the shooting is picked up. Clarence Weatherspoon has 6 points. Knicks 19, and the Sixers 14. Ewing getting to it, finding Starks. And Bull rebound. He didn't jump, he just extended, and then it had it knocked away by Ewing.
That's the amazing part of Bull, which is why if you're Ewing or anybody around the basket, it's a waste of time to go to head fakes. This is the unique person in this league who will not, you see him not leaving the floor. You don't have to fake him because he's not going to leave the floor anyway. So the quicker you make your move, the better. You might just out-quick him.
Nice pass. Percy Hawkins cuts it to a 3-point lead. And the Knicks call for time. 4 minutes.
Knicks fans that have come down to Philadelphia, the Knicks' third year of bringing their fans down to visit the city of brotherly love. Frank Murphy, the Knicks Vice President of Business Affairs, leads the way. Frank told me before the game it started a couple of years ago with 1 bus, then 2 buses. Well, 4 bus loads of fans came down tonight.
Frank drumming it up, has his group on hand. It's the Knicks 19 and the 76ers 16 as we come up on 4 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Marv Albert with John Andres from the Spectrum in Philadelphia. Tim Perry on the floor for the 76ers. Up front now with Bowl and Weatherspoon. Gilliam sitting down. Ewing looking for the turnaround, then pops it back out. Here is Starks for 3. John Starks being given lots of room here in the first quarter. Hornacek met by Starks, able to whip by him. And Ewing rebounds. Starks in the open floor with Bowl back. It goes at him and is rejected. I mean, they just continue to test Manute and are turned back.
Well, there's just no thinking going on in a case like that.
And here's Bowl. He cuts it to a 1-point lead. Manute with 3 blocks. Sixers have 4. Ewing now going to the jump shot wisely. He's hit 3 for his 6 points.
Yes, and very, very soft shooting now. Ewing is into the flow.
Here's a situation with Patrick Ewing hearing so much criticism as Hornacek cuts it to a 1-point lead for going outside and shooting jump shots. But in this instance, I would think that Pat Riley would prefer he do just that. And Bowl's not going to be in there right throughout. He usually plays 24, 25 minutes. And Patrick will be delighted to see him go back to the bench.
Yes, so he can go into his low post game. But he's adjusted. Ewing has adjusted now quite well. Well, John Starks reminds me of Greg Anthony challenging Akeem Olajuwon at the conclusion of the game last week in Houston. And to really finish things and make it a perfect end-to-end situation for Manute Bol, he throws up the winning one-hander.
Hornacek called for the foul, putting Anthony at the line. Tony Campbell and Doc Rivers about to check in. Here's Campbell replacing Smith. Charles Smith leads with 5 points. 2:47 remaining in this first quarter. Good play by Campbell, battling with Perry. Pat Riley does not like the call. It is ruled last touch by Campbell. Pat demonstrating to the official David Jones that it was kicked out by Perry, but does not win that one. Johnny Dawkins has come on for the first time. Ron Anderson has checked in. Starks knocks it away. It'll be Sixer ball. They have 16 on the 24. So the Sixers now with a backcourt of Hersey Hawkins and Johnny Dawkins. Tim Perry up front along with Ron Anderson and Manute Bol.
Tony Campbell's job is to keep that ball out of Anderson's hands, and if he does get it, to be up on him quickly. Anderson's a great shooter.
Mason, crowd wanted to travel. Here's Rivers. And rebounded by Perry. The Knicks with a 2-point lead. And a 20-second timeout called by the Sixers. Doug Morrow, as we have discovered over the years, such a candid guy. You ask him a question and he doesn't give you any nonsense. There was a game earlier this season in which Johnny Dawkins, coming back from an injury, did not see any action at all, and Doug was asked about it after the game and said, I know you guys aren't going to believe this, but I forgot we had him. How many coaches would say that?
Well, Marv, I have another one from my experience. Several years ago, I did a game out in Denver when Doug was coaching, and I asked him about one of his younger players who's no longer in the league and how he was doing and all questions about him, and it came down to address the guy personally, and Doug said, I don't even know his name.
Starks try to adjust the shot, and Weatherspoon moves down. Knicks 22, Sixers 20. Minute 45 remaining. First quarter. Johnny Dawkins made it back from knee surgery last year. Won't count. Foul call before the shot attempt.
Hersey Hawkins was on the move. He ran right around Patrick Ewing, who just didn't have the speed to stay with him. Patrick clipped Hawkins on that cut, committed the foul.
So Hawkins to the free throw line. 82% foul shooting. He's averaging 20 points per game. Andrew Lang checked in for the first time, part of the Hornacek-Barkley deal. It was Charles Barkley to the Phoenix Suns for Jeff Hornacek, Tim Perry, and Andrew Lang. Lang hit a clutch three-point field goal the other day that helped the 76ers beat Miami in that overtime game on Wednesday. The first three-pointer of his NBA career.
And it came in the last minute of regulation play.
The Knicks lead by 1. Here's Ewing. And Patrick Ewing now facing up with Andrew Lang will get closer to the hoop. And a foul call on Campbell. The Knicks at 23-14. They have won their last 2, 4 of the last 6. They are a game and a half in front of the Nets. 3.5 over Boston and 4.5 in front of Orlando. The other day with that 114-91 victory over Charlotte, what was most impressive, aside from the fact it was a rare blowout for the Knicks, the Knicks racked up 32 assists. That was 3 short of a season high, showing the excellent ball movement, something we do not see frequently.
And that led to a discussion of the team confidence level going up. They're learning the lessons. Oh, what a nice move by Mason, a jump hook shot. But their confidence level now is up higher than it's been in a while, and that is because of their sharing of the ball and coming together as a unit.
The Knicks are back to a 1-point lead. That was deflected into the backcourt by the Knicks, so no violation. Here's Dawkins. And kept alive by Anderson. Anderson open. That's just within 2-point range.
He's amazing. Any kind of room at all. Reminds me of Del Curry of Charlotte. Give him any room from the perimeter, and it's 2, it seems.
Ewing getting down low easily on Lang. Nice move, though, by Patrick Ewing, and the Knicks lead 26-25. 20 seconds remaining of the quarter. 8 points for Ewing. And the Sixers using the clock. Dawkins working against Rivers. 10 seconds left. Shot clock showing 4. Dawkins with a pretty move, but could not finish it off. And Rivers fires and hits. Doc Rivers from the backcourt with a hook shot that went cleanly through at the buzzer. You recall, John, in Houston, he threw a long hook that went in, but it did not count. Well, he's been working on it, obviously.
Well, he perfected it. He lined that up, and he actually pegged it. I mean, we're talking from deepest center field right to home plate. Swish. Woo!
Who reminds you that life is short, play hard. And by Mobile Super Unleaded Plus. Drive your engine clean with Mobile Super Unleaded Plus, the detergent gasoline.
Well, after one quarter, the Knicks out to a good start, but the Sixers have caught up with them. How about that for an AT&T long-distance home run? Doc Rivers, in dramatic fashion, finishing the quarter with a shot that will be repeated over and over again. Gee, it's too bad you were on Letterman last night, Marv. You could have used that.
Well, you know, our standards are high. I don't know if it would have made the cut. Hornacek getting inside. But I was dealing with 1992, John.
I know you like the high school stuff too. When you're
big on high school. You try to give the kids a break.
Particularly when one family does it twice in a couple of years. Very nice highlights.
One family?
A couple of youngsters.
Oh, I see. Getting too deep for me, John. Knicks lead 29-27 as this second quarter gets underway. The Knicks 13 for 28, 46% shooting in the first quarter. Philadelphia 9 of 19 for 47%. Knicks did not have any turnovers in that first quarter. Philly with 4. And Mason starts back. Here's Starks again getting the room. And it will be Nick Ball deflected out by Andrew Lang. Rolando Blackman checking back in. And John Starks will depart. So the Knicks now have Ewing with Mason and Campbell up front. Blackman and Rivers in the backcourt. John Starks hit his first 2 shots. He's missed his last 6. And for the most part, he's been wide open. Ewing is stopped from behind by Lang. Campbell had it deflected.
Another great play defensively. Boy, is that tough to do when your man beats you to then come back and block a shot.
Open 3-point shot by Hornacek. Wide open. No one in sight.
Well, that's it. Why was he so wide open? He was planted there. You don't need a lesson in Hornacek play. You know what he's capable of. You got to be on him.
76ers lead 30-29. Here's Blackman. Rebounded by Lang. Andrew Lang has done a good job. Dawkins for Anderson. Way off. Blackman on a pull-up. And the Knicks have gone cold. Mason. Oh, Mason using his strength and then stuffing. Knicks by 1. 2 minutes have gone by in this second quarter. For the Knicks, their first field goal of this second quarter. Missed their first 5 attempts. Anderson with Lang and Perry up front. Dawkins and Hornacek in the backcourt. Hornacek. Good look from Perry. Nice pass by Tim Perry, who played his college ball here in Philadelphia at Temple. Spent 4 years with Phoenix. Tim, a native of Freehold, New Jersey. Sixers 32 and the Knicks 31. Blackman being guarded by Hornacek. There's a West Division matchup over the years. Now Blackman is open. Eluding Anderson. Rebound Ewing. And it's tipped home. Basket will count. It was knocked out of the hoop. Ewing gets credit. One of the Suns looked like Lang knocked it out. Knicks lead 33-32. Patrick Ewing 10 points, 9 rebounds. After playing through the rejection festival by Manute Bol earlier. He's come on.
Yes, he's already had 4 shots blocked.
Charles Oakley and Herb Williams come on for the Knicks. Patrick Ewing and Tony Campbell will sit down. Oakley went out after collecting his second foul. Herb making his first appearance of the game. Well, the Knicks have not turned it over. 8:45 remaining in this first half here at the Spectrum in Philadelphia. Here's Rivers. Doc fires one in from 87 miles away, and
the conventional shot became a problem.
Anderson, tough angle shot, and Rivers on the rebound.
Knicks want to run and push the ball up court. They haven't gotten many fast breaks yet.
Williams given the room by Lang. Oakley battling for position, broken up by Anderson. 11 on the shot clock. Armin Gilliam back in, and Ron Anderson will sit down. Ron Anderson used for instant offense. That has been his role over the years. Blackman. They isolate Blackman against Hornacek. And Rolando takes advantage.
Strength move by Rolando, using his 2-inch height advantage on Hornacek.
The Knicks lead is 3. Dawkins through the foul.
Well, Johnny Dawkins, who got used to starting here in Philadelphia, then had knee problems along the way, has come back now, but he isn't the central figure as far as this backcourt goes, starting-wise. He has started 7 games this season. In fact, the last time he started, a week and a half ago against Golden State, boy, did he have a game. 28 points, 8 assists, played 42 minutes of that game as Hersey Hawkins sat it out. Johnny Dawkins is a very reliable player and unselfish. Duke University all-time great down there, and a terrific guy to play with. He's a very unselfish player.
But the knee surgery has taken its toll, and that is the reason that he is not playing as much as he did in the past. May have played too many minutes last year. Some who feel that try to force it a bit coming back from the knee surgery. Here's Mason on a crossover, and then rejected. It will be Nick Ball.
Mason very much a presence out there, though, under the basket tonight.
The Knicks lead by 1. 7.5 to go, first half. Sixers on the run, led by Gilliam for Perry.
That's simply a matter of being beaten down court. Nicely executed fast break by the Sixers.
Philadelphia leads 36-35. Rivers working off the screen and then throws back out. Blackman recovers and is called for a double dribble. So the ball goes back to the 76ers. The Knicks on the road have won 7 and lost 11. They have lost 3 of the last 5 away from New York. A double dribble by Blackman, the Knicks' first turnover of the night.
The Sixers, like the Charlotte Hornets, play the passing game, and Doc Rivers read that passing situation quite well, jumped in the way and turned it into 2 points for the Knicks. But the Knicks are attuned to this passing game, which means the ball moves quickly and defenders have to stay on their men and fight over picks and really communicate with each other.
Knicks lead by 1.
The focus is not to go inside, but work that ball around for good shots, and Jeff Hornacek hits.
Yes, a good shot by Hornacek, and he's given Philly a 1-point advantage. If Hornacek missed his first 3 shot attempts, he's hit his last 5. Williams, and the back tap fielded by Dawkins. Dawkins stripped by Rivers. Good foul by Hornacek. That nullifies the fast break attempt by Rivers.
The backcourt that foul, I believe. It was close at any rate. Rivers reaching around successfully and gets fouled by Hornacek before he gets to a layup. What is a great reason to buy the other? Well, the Sixers with a fast break. Ignited by Andrew Lang. Gilliam handling that ball, wisely looking ahead. As Tim Perry ahead of the Knicks and everybody else for that slam dunk. Nice lead pass by Armand Gilliam. Perfectly timed.
So the Sixers by 1. Knicks only 4 out of 15 from the field here in the second. Make it 5 out of 16 as Blackman has given the Knicks a 1-point lead. However, of those 11 Knick misses, they've been able to get 6 back on offensive rebounds. Rivers called for the foul, and a technical foul called. Mark does it very quietly, though. You can't tell that something nasty has been passed on.
Well, I saw the veins out a little harder, or harsher rather, on that defensive play on Hornacek. He was very unhappy. They're both about the same size, so it's a good matchup as far as size goes. And Rivers was working very hard to deny Hornacek the ball. That's the first thing a defender wants to do.
Knicks and the Sixers tied at 39. 5.5 to go. First half. Weatherspoon got the step, but was fouled. Weatherspoon got good position. Herb Williams called for the foul.
Well, here's the young man who is being asked to fill the shoes of Charles Barkley, and he has done a sensational job. In fact, he's averaging just about the same numbers that Barkley did in his first year in the NBA. 14 points. Well, we'll take a look at it right now. Barkley 14 points. Weatherspoon a trifle more at this moment. Barkley another rebound. But basically the same. I asked Doug Moe before the game, does he remind him of Barkley? And he said, really, he reminds me more of Larry Johnson, the star of the Charlotte Hornets. Quite a comparison.
Clarence Weatherspoon, #1 draft pick. Metro Conference Player of the Year of the last 3 seasons out of Southern Mississippi. And here comes Manute. Crowd loves Manute Ball. He's all smiles, usually. Although, has, like yourself, John, a terrible temper. Charles Barkley always talks about that, and has been involved in several fights and near fights in practice sessions. Sixers lead it 41 to 39. Manute Ball, the tallest player in NBA history. Last year, 6th in shot blocking. Blocked 1 shot every 6.2 minutes.
One of only 7 players to go over 2,000 blocks in his career.
Accomplished that the other night against Miami. Coming into tonight, 2002 career blocks.
Meanwhile, the Knicks have lost their shooting touch. Talking about shot blocking, our Old Spice leaders show Manute Ball at the bottom of the list here, but he's one of 7 who've gone over 2,000 career blocks. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, names familiar to fans. George Johnson, though, who's been retired a few years. Great shot blocker.
George T. Johnson, as the graphic told you. Illegal defense was called. That shot was waved off. George Johnson, who played so well for the Golden State Warriors, saw some action with the Nets. Master of the underhand free throw, courtesy of Rick Barry, who worked with him.
Good guy and a fine dresser.
Yes, that's true. I believe player agent these days. Sixers lead at 41 to 39. Weatherspoon with the rebound and a double pump. Rejected again by Ewing. And Charles with a little pass to himself.
Squirted out of his hands.
He tried to hold back because he saw Hawkins make a move at him. Here's another look at it. Oh, there it is. Didn't want to give it away.
Tried to change his mind, and the ball just squirted right out of his hands.
So the Sixers get the ball back. Here comes Greg Anthony for Doc Rivers.
The Knicks need one more pass at the offensive end. They're tending to rush their shots and take the first shot available.
Hawkins with a rush shot that was blocked. Ball. And it will be Nick Ball. Ball's pass sailing over the head of Hawkins. Setting the Knicks. They go with a backcourt now of Anthony and Blackman up front. Ewing, Smith, and Oakley. So again, the matchup is Ewing with Bowl. Anthony being played by Hornacek. Ewing. Rebound Oakley. And he is stopped. A host of blocked shots at both ends tonight. Gilliam on the rebound. And he's fouled.
Well, to see Charles Oakley sit on the floor, almost pouting for a split second, was disappointing to Pat Riley after Charles. Now Charles heads right to the bench. Of course, Mason was on his way in before that happened. But Charles spends so much time being distracted by the defense when he's under the basket with the ball. He tends to jump laterally to try and draw contact, which totally distorts his shot because he doesn't get up that high anyway. And it, in turn, makes it easy for the defense to bother him and block the shot. Meanwhile, there's more intensity coming from the guys in the home uniforms than there is from the Knicks.
And the Sixers now lead at 43-39. We have seen 11 blocked shots in this first half. 5 by the Knicks, 6 by the Sixers. Bol has 3. Ewing has 3. 3 minutes remaining in the half. Mason behind the back. And Bol called for the foul on Ewing,
who was also going for a stuff again. See, the bad part of this is Patrick can't get a shot up. If he gets a shot up, hey, it may go in. But he goes the high route against the 7-6 Bol and at least draws the foul.
So Patrick Ewing to the line. He is shooting under 70% from the free throw line. Really having a poor season at the line. Charles Smith will sit down. John Starks comes on. This is the first time tonight that Pat Riley has gone to the 3-guard setup.
Pat Riley's got to be very concerned right now because Patrick Ewing seems to lead the way for the Knicks and has lost the touch, as have the Knicks in general. And their play has gone down a notch energy-wise.
Prior to that free throw by Ewing, Knicks went scoreless for 3 minutes. Here's Gilliam. Starks eluding Gilliam, has a 4-on-2. Starks, yes,
nicely done by Greg Anthony.
Sixers lead 43-42 with 2 minutes 35 seconds remaining. First half. As Doug Moe does, would have the green light three-point range as he did under Don Nelson. Oh, Hawkins missed the easy one. Doug said no. Does not want him taking those three-point launches. Anthony, and back comes Dawkins.
Well, he and Don Nelson differ, huh?
Here's Hawkins, and it's Weatherspoon. Hawkins thought it was foul. Weatherspoon converting on the follow, and the Sixers lead 45-42. Ewing back to the basket on Bol with the fake, and is rejected, but was fouled. Bol with a little vote of confidence for the official, George Tolliver.
Well, Patrick trying to figure out the best way to do this, goes into a move and succeeds in drawing some contact.
Timeout is taken. We'll be right back.
The Knicks Miami Heat game February 7th will begin at 7:30 p.m. instead of 6 p.m. as it was originally scheduled for.
Doug Moe upset with a couple of calls last minute and a half, although you look at the free throw difference. Knicks have gone to the line only 5 times. Sixers 14 for 17. And Patrick Ewing back to the line. He was fouled prior to that timeout by Bol. Manute now with 2 personal fouls. Sixers lead 45-43. Minute 53 remaining in the first half. Knicks and Sixers met in New York opening night at the Garden back in early November, and the Knicks won 89-85. Knicks have won 3 in a row against the 76ers, 10 of the last 12. Last year, the Knicks took the season series 3 games to 1. Ron Anderson is back on the floor for Philadelphia. That's Dawkins. Sixers lead by 3.
What a nice move. Faking the drive and then coming back quickly for that jump shot.
6 points for Johnny Dawkins. High Point men, Patrick Ewing has 13. Jeff Hornacek with 14. Hornacek catching fire after the slow start. Shot clock down to 5. Anthony, yes.
Anthony duplicating Johnny Dawkins' dribble, jump shot.
And like Dawkins, a southpaw. Here's Ball for 3. Well, as I said, he does not have the green light, but he shot it. Now Starks with the pull-up. But Newt Ball with the 3-pointer. That's his first of the season, only his 3rd attempt. Crowd still excited about it.
Spellbound.
Yes. The Knicks had an outstanding first half. Blackman with the steal and a foul called. Stay right here, says Jack Madden. The foul on Blackman.
Well, he had the green light when he was with Don Nelson at Golden State. As you mentioned, Marv, he doesn't have the green light here, but he carved out his own niche there with that beautiful shot. And he shows you he can stand up to Coach Doug Moe. He feels it's the right time, he'll do it.
Blackman picks up his 3rd. And Anderson will go to the line. Ron Anderson in his 9th season out of Fresno State. He has made the rounds. Cleveland, Indiana, now Philly, his 5th year with the 76ers. Manute hears it from the crowd. He'll get a rest. Andrew Lang replacing Manute Bol. 5 points, 6 rebounds, 3 blocked shots. The stat line of Manute Bol.
What a smart move by Doug Moe, because he knew Bol would get a big hand. Give him a nice lift.
Here's Ewing. Patrick Ewing getting a lift. With Bol sitting on the bench, he can go to the hoop.
Now Doug Moe feels dumb. You know, if you walked over to right now, you'd say, Doug, how do you feel? You'd say, boy, was that stupid. Taking Bol out so he could get a hand.
Ewing, 15 points, along with 10 rebounds and 3 block shots. Sixers playing the clock down to 10 seconds. 5 on the shot clock. Intended for Lang. It'll be Nick Ball. 8, 5, 10 seconds remaining in this first half. 20-second timeout taken by the Knicks. So Pat Riley will try to map it out. Sixers lead by 3.
Call 339-7601 for other ball locations and dates. That's tomorrow at the Granite Rock.
Orlando Blackman has a dramatic evening here tonight. The Philadelphia Inquirer did a nice piece on him today, playing in his 900th career game, and he has something in common with a number of people. He hasn't fouled out of a game. And look who was in front of him. The Big Dipper himself, Will Chamberlain, didn't foul out over 1,000 games.
He has 3 here tonight. Now, wouldn't be ironic in game number 900 if Rolando threw the 6. Greg Grant will come on for the first time. Greg, the one-time Knick out of Trenton State. All right, final seconds. Anthony for Ewing. And apparently Starks stepped out of bounds. It'll be Sixer ball. They have 2 6/10 seconds remaining in the half. Hawkins throws in. Ewing with the steal of the bucket. What a play by Patrick Ewing.
Out of sight.
That's out of the pages of John Havlicek. Not quite as dramatic, but
Ewing stole the ball.
Yes. And you sound just like Johnny Most. Patrick Ewing with a terrific play to conclude this first half, and he finishes with 17 points, and the Knicks trail by 1 at halftime.
Oh, what athletic instincts by Ewing. What a lift.
Bob Page coming up at the MSG Sports Desk here at the Spectrum. Halftime, the 76ers lead the Knicks 51-50. 17, 76ers by 1. Let's go to Bob Page at the MSG Sports Desk.
Thank you, Marv. Hi again, everybody. The Nets are in Atlanta tonight to play a Hawks team that they have already beaten twice this year in the 2 previous meetings between the ball clubs. And New Jersey leading Atlanta 51-49 at halftime. Chuck Daly and company have won 5 of the last 6, but in the first quarter, off a miss by Kevin Willis, watch what happens to Chris Dudley. He rebounds. Stacey Ogden gets the loose basketball, jams. That cut on New Jersey lead to 2. The game tied going into the second quarter. Pathetic play here by Derek Coleman. Spins, moves, and then throws up an absolute brick. Nobody stops ex-net Mookie Blaylock, who had 12 points in the opening half. Atlanta by 1 there. Now, Nets on the attack again. Derek Coleman flies through the lane and jams. That gave New Jersey a 41-38 lead. Atlanta over tonight. Sir Charles back from his 1-game suspension. Suns trying to avoid a rare 3-game losing streak. Off Dan Marley's miss. Barkley there for the tip-in. Phoenix open an early 6-point lead. Now Kevin Johnson has his shot blocked by Larry Stewart on the break. Stewart gets it back. Juggling act. Somehow puts it in off the glass. Bullets had their first lead at 43-42 with 6 minutes left in the second quarter. However, Danny Ainge has drilled 4 3-point shots for Phoenix, and the Suns have a 59-57 halftime lead. Coming off their win over the Nets last night, the Chicago Bulls are back home tonight taking on a Charlotte Hornets ball club that they have beaten 17 straight times. Despite boasting the best record in the Eastern Conference, the Bulls' 27-11 mark already has some people saying that this club is not as strong as the last 2 NBA championship teams.
Our last 2 years, we kind of set a high standard for ourselves, and so the expectations were a little bit high for this team, and we hadn't lived up to that, but it isn't like we're playing that terrible of basketball. I think our record is where we've played. I think we could easily be better in terms of some mental lapses in certain games, but, you know, our record is really true, and, you know, we know that we're not playing the same basketball last year, but, you know, when the time comes, we will be ready to play the game of basketball.
Bobby Holik ready tonight. Hockey at the Meadowlands Arena. 3-1 Devils lead Montreal second period. Holik scored 3 goals. The hat trick in the first period alone, has 18 on the season. Now this.
Sports Desk is brought to you by Alamo. There are over 4 million miles of roads in Alamo territory, and with Alamo, all those miles are free.
In Philadelphia, the 76ers lead the Knicks by the score of 51-50. Look at the Jeep Eagle scoring summary. Jeff Hornacek, high point man with 14. Clarence Weatherspoon with 10. 6 apiece for Gilliam and Dawkins. Hawkins 5, and Bowl with 5 points, including a 3-pointer. The New York Knicks, led by Patrick Ewing, started slowly and then came on. 7 for 15 overall for 17 points, along with 10 rebounds and 3 block shots. Blackman with 8, Starks with 6, Rivers and Smith with 5. Rivers had that shot at the end of the first quarter from the backcourt. Now look at the highlights, brought to you by Minolta, creators of the world's most responsive SLR cameras, the new Maxim XI series.
Well, since Manute Bol got in the lineup, they've won 10 out of 15, starting lineup that is, and he started out tonight denying John Starks. Manute Bol has had a very important impact on this game in favor of the Sixers. At the other end of the court, the Sixers move that ball. And Manute Bol handling it inside after that shot block comes down with a very casual toss that went into the basket.
And now here is Manute from long range, his first 3-pointer of the season. Note the body English, John, right on target from straight away, and nonchalance, no problem.
Well, the Knicks did one better than that, though. At the end of the first quarter, the Sixers on a shot attempt, seconds ticking away. Doc Rivers knows what time it is, and he lets one fly. Oh, not even the rim. That brought the Knicks to within 1. And Patrick Ewing at the end of the half, stealing the basketball. 2 seconds on the clock when that started, and it all happened in the right amount of time.
Both clubs back on the floor, warming up, getting ready for the second half, and we'll be back.
Part by MetLife. Get Met. It pays. By Old Spice Cologne and Deodorant. Old Spice, the winning difference. And by Coca-Cola. Enjoy all the Knicks excitement with Coca-Cola Classic. Can't beat the real thing.
Close ball game right throughout. Knicks at one stretch led by as many as 7. Philadelphia's biggest lead, a margin of 5. The Knicks shooting just under 40%, but John will round it off, make it 40. And the Sixers at 46% off the boards. They've been even. Knicks with only 3 turnovers in the first half.
Sixers have been out-rebounded their last 6 games. So the Knicks' poor shooting has enabled them to get some pretty high numbers off the boards. Our Toyota matchup features the starting centers for the respective teams. Ewing had a very big half, 17 points, 10 rebounds, and also had 3 blocks, but Manute Bol's presence was felt.
76ers benefiting from a very generous scoring crew. Smith jumping out for the steal. 76ers credited with 13 blocked shots in the first half. 3 for Bol, 4 for Lang, but 13 in all. The Knicks with 4. Ewing with 3 of those 4. That ball was thrown out of bounds. Ewing trying to find Anthony.
Hey, an amazing number, Marv, is that the Sixers only had 5 personal fouls called on this team in the first half. It means the Knicks were unable to create enough pressure.
Good double team, and Ewing came up with the steal. Well, Patrick Ewing with his 3rd steal of the game. Sixers lead by 1. Here's Ewing given the room from outside. Bol with the rebound.
Even though Bol might not put up the hand, he is a distraction.
Weatherspoon. He is a terrific all-around player. Can do it inside, outside, strong off the board. Good shot blocker, hard worker too, and as we've seen, has decent range with the shot. That won't count.
Weatherspoon was muscling Charles Smith, who's trying to use his body and position as he did to open the game, but Smith was rather quiet throughout the first half. Played 12 minutes, 5 points, 2 rebounds for Charles.
Blackman and Anthony in the backcourt. Smith, Oakley, and Ewing up front. Anthony wide open. Oakley missed the tip. Oakley again. Nice quick release to beat Bol.
He didn't bring the ball down to his waist. He kept it up high.
Sixers with a 1-point lead. And extended to 3. 16 for Hornacek. 2 minutes gone by in the 3rd. Jeff Hornacek has hit 6 out of 9 from the field. Anthony Mason getting set to come on. Smith backing Weatherspoon. Ewing. Yes.
Nice look by Charles Smith. Even though he didn't get the basket with his size advantage, he drew the attention and then gave it up unselfishly.
76ers 55. The Knicks 54. Hornacek not allowed the move, and then Anthony stole it. Good play by Greg Anthony. Ewing. Oh, that time a little deception, as Bol thought that Ewing would try to slam it, but instead Patrick Ewing went to the subtle move. Gilliam was fouled.
Well, the Sixers are doing a good job rushing that ball up court after the Knicks score. But Patrick Ewing makes a big adjustment here. No slam dunk this time. The classic layup by the 7-foot Ewing off the backboard and in, and that was beautiful.
How about Rolando Blackman picking up number 4? We showed you that graphic earlier. This is 900th career NBA game. Rolando yet to foul out, and he has 4. And well, we'll stay on the floor right here. Let's see how Pat Riley plays it. But Blackman will remain in. Now John Starks going over to the scorer's table and will come on. Blackman for 3. Rolando shot before he gets back to the bench. He has been hot from 3-point range the last week and a half. And Blackman has shot well tonight. He's 5 out of 8, 11 points. Another steal by the Knicks. Blackman beating Anthony. Anthony going back the other way. Surprise Ewing. Blackman rebounded by Weatherspoon. Knicks lead by 2. Weatherspoon took a shot. on the follow has tied the game at 59. 8:20 remaining third quarter.
Knicks trying to vary their attack offensively. The attempt there was to get Mason cutting across the middle. Good defense by the Sixers. Stopped it, though.
Oakley. A more trajectory by Charles than usual. Pop that one up there. Hornacek had it knocked away. Again, a good play by Anthony. Here's Anthony to the reverse as he challenged Ball, and Ball was taken out of the play, so Oakley was able to hit on the follow.
Well, Greg presented some deception, which enabled him to get the shot off, and as it turned out, it was almost an assist by him by just getting it up there.
Knicks by 2. Crowd looking for Ball to launch one. Oh, nice pass for Hawkins. Pretty pass from Manu.
Well, Greg Anthony slipped and let his man get in front of him, and the pass was right on target.
Tied at 61. Ball with his first assist of the night. Ewing.
Knicks had no rebounders.
Weatherspoon in a battle with Mason. Here's Weatherspoon.
That's the strength of his body. Even though he's not that tall, he's got that Barkley-type strength that enabled him to hold his position.
6 of 11, 14 points for Weatherspoon. Sixers lead it by 2. Ewing from Anthony.
Thinking about holding position, Marv. So many guys come out of college with big numbers as 6'7", 6'9" guys, but they don't have the body to hold the position down low with NBA strength. Kenny Walker's one I'm thinking of. He came out of Kentucky and with huge numbers, and it just didn't, that type game he had didn't translate as a strength player under the basket, but you can see Witherspoon really has it.
Timeout is called. 63. Jeff Hornacek, who, as you mentioned earlier, John, second in the All-Star voting behind Michael Jordan. Jeff, over the years, very underrated player, but getting the attention. Yesterday, the announcement made regarding All-Star Saturday. These the participants in the long-distance shootout. Craig Hodges, although not active in the league, a late entrant. A little pressure from the Players Association. Craig felt that as the defending champion, he should be back in there. Originally, I don't think the NBA was going to go that route.
Odd to see Mark Price, the quiet Mark Price, speak up and say he didn't feel an inactive player should be allowed back in.
Patrick Ewing called for that illegal pick, and Hornacek will throw it in for Ewing, his second foul. Hornacek missed his first 3 shots tonight. Since then, he's hit 6 out of 6, and he has 16 points. Halfway through the third quarter, it's been close throughout. Marv Albert, John Andres from the Spectrum in Philadelphia. Good crowd on hand. They have not been drawing well here in Philly. Got off to the slow start, but they have played well recently. Sixers have won the last 3, 10 of the last 15. Shot clock down to 3. Gilliam looking for the shot. Gets it off. Finger roll.
Ewing was the center of a very uplifting defensive effort on that sequence for the Sixers.
John Starks back in there for Rolando Blackman, who had picked up his 4th foul. Oakley, Ewing, Mason up front, Starks, and Anthony in the backcourt. And Ewing goes to the running hook. Hornacek. Beautiful move by Hornacek. So deceptive off the dribble.
He's masterful at placing his body between the basketball and the man guarding him.
Sixers lead by 2 with 5 minutes remaining in the third.
Starks now 3 for 11.
And a foul on Oakley, and Oakley and Gilliam have words. They went face to face. Pretty good heavyweight matchup.
Oh, that's top notch. Nice block by Charles, and then Gilliam gives Charles what Charles often gives opponents, a little shot afterwards. Gilliam's hand came down rather hard on Oakley's shoulder.
And the two continue the discussion.
Technical foul has been assessed.
And now technical fouls are being called. Well, double technical handed out by the official George Tolliver on both Gilliam and Oakley. Gilliam now will sit down, and Tim Perry has checked in.
Doug Moe not afraid of facing his unhappy player as he pulls him right out.
Tim Perry checking to the Sixers lineup.
Here's Hornacek. So Hornacek finally misses a shot. Sixers lead by 2. Ball with the rebound.
Manute sweeping in there.
11 rebounds for Manute Ball. 4.5 remaining in the third. The Sixers 65 and the Knicks 63. Here's Hawkins. Sixers by 4. The Knicks at one point led by as many as 7. Philadelphia has led by as many as 5. Patrick Ewing is the high man with 23. Jeff Hornacek leading Philadelphia with 18. Starks with 3. Mason on the rebound. And here is Ewing. Yes. So the Knicks now within 2, and a technical foul has been called on Anthony Mason.
Technical foul has been assessed. The New York number 14, Anthony.
So this follows the double technical on Oakley and Gilliam, and now Mason called for the tee.
Mason quite outspoken now in response.
Free throw line number 14.
Mason under the boards, pushing Perry right out of the play, and then followed it up with some words to the official, drew the technical foul, something that happens a little too often for Anthony Mason.
And Jeff Hornacek, an excellent free throw shooter, misses on the technical. Things getting very physical here in the third quarter. 76ers lead at 67-65. Ron Anderson is checked in. Hawkins moving across against Starks. And here is Hornacek. Whoa, way off. And it will be Nick Ball.
Actually, Marv, that technical was called on the push. It wasn't a verbal follow-up by Anthony Mason. Very quick decision by the officials. No violence, please.
Anthony using the screen. Here is Ewing. Patrick Ewing on fire. And the Knicks have tied it at 67.
Amazing the Sixers are where they are with Hersey Hawkins having such a weak first half. Only 1 for 6, 1 for 5 in the first half.
And throws an air ball on that three-point attempt, and here's it from the crowd. Marv Albert with John Andres, the electronic wizard, Howie Singer, and Bob Lewis at the controls from the Spectrum in Philadelphia as we come up on 3 minutes remaining in the third. And the game is tied at 67. Now Mason puts the move on Perry and throws it back the other way. Here's Ewing. Oakley pops it out. Starks for 3. Yes. John Starks from downtown, and the Knicks have taken a 70-67 lead.
John Starks catching fire now, 4 for 12 from the field.
Perry lost it. Starks going all the way. And the Knicks, with a surge, have taken a 5-point lead, and Doug Moe wants to talk it over. 22nd timeout has been called.
Doug Moe furious at what has gone on now in the last minute or two as the Knicks have exploded on his team. Perry being denied, throwing the ball into Anthony's hand, and John Starks coming in for the slam dunk to give the Knicks a 5-point lead. Chicago tonight. There's another Catch the Beatables Express from February 12th through 14th, going to Chicago to see the Bulls play. Package includes a round-trip airfare, Deluxe Hotel, game tickets, and more. Call 1-800-288-7908, extension 44 for more details.
Percy Hawkins with a nice move. And the Knicks with a 72-69 lead. Any truth to the report that all those who will be on hand in Chicago are invited to your room after the game, John?
Absolutely.
We'll get together, pretzels, and
or to your suite. I think your room would be a little nicer.
14 for Starks. Oh, I heard a little anxiety there in the voice, John.
Just jealousy.
The Knicks by 6 with 1:45 to go, third quarter. Ball showing the good hands and then able to hit.
It just shows you how big this guy is. I mean, you can't get up high enough to bother him when he shoots the ball.
And the ball goes back to Philadelphia. Manute Bol in one of the stronger all-around games that we have witnessed. 3 out of 3 from the field, 7 points, along with 11 rebounds. Oakley with a steal.
Oh, he attacked Bol, took that ball right away. Knicks big men have very good hands tonight defensively. Ewing with his 3 steals, and everyone's participating out there. And the Knicks' intensity level has gone up here in the second half.
Here's Starks. And Anthony able to keep it alive. We come up on 1 minute remaining. Third quarter. Knicks with only 5 turnovers to the Sixers' 17. Ewing. Yes. Patrick Ewing has the jump shot working beautifully. 29 for Ewing. Another strong effort after the slow start. He tried to challenge Bol right at the start and then changed the plan wisely. Oakley with the rebound. Knicks lead 77-71. 35 seconds left, third quarter.
Knicks not allowing second shot by the Sixers.
John Starks again. So Starks went through that down period. At one stretch missed 6 straight, but he's turned it around. Knicks with their biggest lead of the night, a margin of 8. Down to 20 seconds, 13 on the shot clock. Hawkins. Ewing got a piece of it. Saved by Mason. Pumps it down. Ewing for Starks. What a play. And the Knicks lead by 10. 11 seconds remaining third quarter. A very impressive finish here in the third by the Knicks. Dawkins to the left hand. It will be Nick Ball with 2 5/10 seconds remaining in the third. Oakley throwing in. Anthony. Ewing. That would not have counted. After 3, the Knicks have opened up an 81-71 lead, an 18-4.
Well, the Knicks finished the third quarter with a surge, 18-4 surge to be exact. Everyone's contributing now. John Starks finishing strongly as well with that shot. The Midas bench breakdown showing the Knicks with 27 points off the bench led by John Starks. Johnny Dawkins is doing his best for the Sixers. Anthony Mason to finish out the quarter. Ewing with the quick hands to John Starks, who wraps things up.
Starks and Ewing each with 12 points in the third quarter. Mason was stopped and tied up. Starks at 5 out of 8. 2 from three-point land. Ewing 6 of 10. They combined for 24. The Knicks 31 points. As the Knicks outscore the Sixers 31-20 in the third. They are in the midst of an 18-4 run to take over this game. Weatherspoon. And it's a traveling violation. Basket does not count. The Knicks opening up this fourth quarter with Oakley, Mason, and Ewing up front. Starks and Anthony in the backcourt. Greg Anthony has had a very solid game. Good decisions. He's come up with several steals. Not forced the issue.
Greg led the Knicks in the first half with 6 assists alone.
Now the Sixers look to run. Hornacek. Knicks lead 81-73.
Well, he's so tough as he gets that shot up quickly right in front of you.
Hornacek, high man for the Sixers with 20 points. Weatherspoon has 14. Hawkins with 13. Here's Weatherspoon, met by Mason. Hornacek. We are just underway in the fourth quarter. Knicks and the Sixers meeting for the second of 5 times this season. Knicks winning opening night at the Garden, winning 89-85. 76ers got off to the slow start this season, in particular at home, where they really had their problems, but that's not the case recently. They have won 6 straight at the Spectrum. Gilliam, so the 76ers coming back, and Pat Riley wants a 20. Timeout called. Doc Rivers and Charles Smith will check in following this timeout. This program is authorized by Madison Square Garden Productions Incorporated solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this event without the express written consent of Madison Square Garden Productions Incorporated is prohibited.
One of the things that Pat Riley was pleased about in the last couple of games from his Knicks playing home at Madison Square Garden is getting good play out of at least 5 men, as he says, in his 8-man rotation. That's what happened here throughout this game so far tonight. It is not just Patrick Ewing, but there are a lot of contributors to the Knicks' effort here in Philadelphia thus far.
Well, Charles Smith has checked in. Doc Rivers will come on in a moment. Starks played on a switch by Lang. Lang replacing Ball. Starks for 3. Air ball handled by Oakley, and he's able to hit on his second attempt.
As he so often does. He has that down perfectly. To miss that first shot, get a rebound, pump those stats up, and then hit the field goal.
Oakley showing some offense tonight. He has 8 points, along with 10 rebounds. Good game for Charles Oakley. Oh, Starks took a shot in the mouth. Hornacek. Rebound, Gilliam. Last touch by Smith.
Big bodies meeting under the basket. Unfortunately for Starks, he was the first victim.
Doc Rivers replacing Greg Anthony.
Oh, that hurt. It's great to see the guy who does it then take on that look of innocence.
Nine and a half remaining in the game. Knicks lead by 8 points. Weatherspoon handling the pass from Dawkins for the foul. Nice loop pass tossed up by Johnny Dawkins. Right here, we're set for an update. Let's go to Bob Page.
Marvin, Atlanta, the Nets had led by 8 into the third quarter, but the Hawks wipe it out with an 11-0 run, capped by Stacey Augman's jam off a Dominique miss. Yes, a perfect 10, but the game far from over yet.
Weatherspoon on the line, hitting the first. He was fouled by Oakley. 4 on Oakley. The Knicks 83, the 76ers 77. Smith, Mason, and Oakley now up front. So Patrick Ewing getting a rare rest. He's piled up the minutes tonight and has come through with his 3rd straight strong game. Starks again. That's a 3-pointer. So John Starks with his 3rd from downtown. The save by Rivers, and Starks going all the way is fouled by Lang. Foot race between Starks and Lang was called.
Lang did well to stay with Starks, who was in full sprint, and John can fly. Good Knicks team defense. What a save by Rivers. Starks flying down court, Lang hanging with him. John Starks petitioned the official for a flagrant foul call.
John too strong on that first attempt. John Starks started the game 3 for his first 12. He has hit 6 of his last 9. He now has 22 points. So he has continued his consistent scoring. It goes back to the start of the Western trip of the game against the Kings in Sacramento. Lang called for the offensive foul.
Doc Rivers got clobbered into. Doc not afraid, however, to do those things. He and Starks are very good at drawing offensive fouls by opponents. Doc read that, set himself for the foul, and he drew it.
The Knicks 87, the 76ers 77. 20 turnovers for Philadelphia. Knicks with only 6. Here's Smith going short, handled by Oakley, and he's fouled. And Charles hurt his hand.
Well, Charles Smith, the first Charles that we speak of, just cannot get into the flow. He can't get the touch, and not shooting the ball much hurts him. He can't snap right into it. He needs to take shots. He's touching the ball a lot. Oakley hurt again for the second time this game. Charles Oakley banged up pretty badly.
Charles Oakley, 8 points, 11 rebounds. His season high, 11. That was against the Bucks in early December. He's had an excellent all-around game. 6 of the 11 rebounds off the offensive board.
Charles still wearing the pain expression that he, as a result of the blow he took on the arm.
Oakley misses on both. Knicks with a 10-point lead. 4 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter. Play clock. And the Sixers will get a new 24. Here's Rolando Blackman coming back.
This is a Philadelphia team without a center who scores regularly, so they are married to that passing game. Keep that middle open and hope they get lots of good movement and good shots. They do have very good shooters, but they don't have an inside game.
Charles Smith sitting down, so the Knicks back to the 3 guards. And a foul called.
Personal foul number 34.
It is number 5 for Oakley.
As a result of this passing game style that the Sixers play, the Knicks defenders have to work very hard because there's so much motion going on the court. There's no standing back and looking who you can help. You've got to concentrate on your man alone because you know he's going lateral across the court and then cutting down the middle of the court. You've got to really be on your toes against a team like the Sixers, as the Knicks were the other night against a similar offense in Charlotte.
Patrick Ewing is back, replacing Charles Oakley. Percy Hawkins, averaging 20 points per game, cuts that Knick lead to 87-79. So the Knicks with Ewing and Mason on the front line, and the 3 guards, Rivers, Starks, and Blackman. Mason was pushed.
What a pick set by Doc Rivers. He came down court, ran right across the middle of the key area and set a pick on Mason's man and gave him that split second. It allowed him that time to get position and draw a foul.
Non-shooting foul. 13 foul called on Philadelphia. Starks played by Hornacek. Blackman being guarded by Hawkins. Ewing with a good fake on Lang, and he drew the foul. So Andrew Lang is called for his 3rd, and Patrick Ewing will go to the line.
Rolando Blackman is so sensitive to getting the ball to Ewing. He always looks for Ewing first. And with his 6 foot 6 inches of height, he can generally throw the ball over the defender that's guarding him.
Ewing 3 out of 4 from the line. Knicks only 6 of 11. Sixers have gone to the line 26 times. Tonight, it's the first of a home-and-home set between the Knicks and the Philadelphia 76ers, meeting again at the Garden on Tuesday. We'll be on hand starting at 7 o'clock with Knicks game night. Tuesday night, Knicks and the Sixers at the Garden. Knicks now lead by 10. Lang lost it. Starks from Rivers. The Knicks lead 91-79.
Sixers go to Milwaukee tomorrow for the first of a back-to-back, and oddly enough, funny numbers they faced this year when they've had back-to-backs. They're 2-12 on the first game of back-to-back situations this year. Usually a team would win the first game and show fatigue in the second one, but it's reverse numbers for the Sixers this year. They fail in that first of 2 of 2.
Doug Moe not pleased about what he has seen here tonight. Sixers have won 3 in a row, 10 of 15. Rivers called for that last foul. Knicks have opened up a 12-point lead. Dawkins lost it. Here's Starks. Hornacek back. Starks going all the way. Missed the layup. Hornacek whipping by Ewing, then rejected and fouled by Mason.
John Starks has such confidence in himself. I think someday in a breakaway with a guy right with him, if he stopped and waited for somebody to come down, you'd think he had a fever.
Little Walt Clyde Frazier type move. Clyde would slow it down in that situation, try to draw the foul, perhaps look for someone.
Or give the defender some change of pace.
And good road basketball. Go down inside. Now, right now, that's the 4th foul on the Jazz for the
Dutch
club.
boy in the paint numbers. The Knicks right now with 16 offensive rebounds, half that for the Sixers. However, the Sixers leading the game in defensive intimidations and shot blocks, but that 13 has been sitting there for a long time. That's a first half number, 13 shot blocks for the Knicks and Sixers.
And 13 for the Sixers, a season high. As we watch Jeff Hornacek at the free throw line. Jeff, over the years, one of the most underrated players in the league. Did make the All-Star team last season for the very first time, averaged 20 points a game. Always among the top free throw shooters. Although right here hits 1 out of 2. The Knicks 91 and the 76ers 80. Running hook by Doc Rivers, showing us the entire repertoire tonight. The Knicks lead by 13. Weatherspoon. Weatherspoon with excellent post-up moves, though. And they've been effective in getting him the ball down low.
This has been a very strong game for Anthony Mason on the boards. He's had a big presence throughout the time on the floor for him. That was his 7th rebound.
Here's Starks. Yes. John Starks extends to a 15-point Knick lead. Holding foul on Mason. Well, the Knicks with their 3rd straight excellent performance. Victories over Charlotte and Phoenix. They actually played very well last Saturday in Houston, although lost the game to the Rockets down the stretch. And they've gone up against a 76er club that has gone well at home recently. 6 straight wins and came out playing strong, but the Knicks took the play away in the 3rd quarter, and they now lead it by 14. Dawkins with the rebound. Wild shot. Back comes Rivers. Feeding Lang, going to the reverse. Weatherspoon with the rebound. Blackman broke it up. Good hustle by Blackman and Ewing.
Knicks have really tightened up in the second half. The defense is the spirit of this team in so many ways. They dug in defensively, and then the offense flowed.
3 guards on the floor now for the Sixers. Good setup for Lang. The Knicks 95 and the 76ers 83. Rivers with Blackman and Starks, along with Ewing and Mason. Ewing with the drop step, fouled by Lang. That's 4 on Lang.
Well, the Sixers have felt Patrick Ewing's offensive explosion on all parts of the floor tonight. Back to the basket, post moves down low, jump shots out high. Patrick has run hard, run the court well, and has evolved. His presence has evolved into an excellent all-around game.
Third straight 30-plus performance by Ewing. Has 32 points, along with 13 rebounds. The Knicks lead it 96-83. Just under 5 minutes remaining in the game. Weatherspoon is fouled.
Personal foul, Patrick Ewing, his
Ewing
third.
called for his third. And Clarence Weatherspoon will go to the foul line. He is 5 out of 8 from the line. So the Knicks lead by 12. Philadelphia 76ers last season went 12 under 500, 35 and 47, fifth in the Atlantic, out of the playoffs. Jim Lynam now, general manager of the team. Doug Moe taking over as the head coach. Doug spent 14 seasons as head man at San Antonio and Denver, won 4 divisional titles. He is the 11th all-time winningest coach in NBA history. Here's Weatherspoon.
Doug has sold his system of the passing game quite well to this team. With players like Jeff Hornacek and Hersey Hawkins handling the ball outside, who happen to be the top 2 scorers on this team. That helps.
Ewing taking advantage of the overplay, but could not connect, and a foul call. Reach-in foul.
Personal foul, Patrick
That's
Ewing.
4 on Ewing. Still lots of time remaining. 4.5 to go. The Knicks lead by 12. Manute Bol is back on the floor, greeted by the crowd.
At the line,
Johnny Dawkins to the line. 76ers spending much time at the free throw line. They are now 25 for 33. Johnny Dawkins, good free throw shooter, 86% lifetime. The Knicks lead by 10. Now Rivers facing some pressure from Dawkins. Ewing sets the pick. Starks speeding Ewing. Blackman. Hawkins for 3. Hornacek back for Hawkins. And apparently he came from out of bounds. He stepped out. So it will be Nick Ball.
The feeling now is the outcome has been decided in many ways. Nevertheless, it hasn't. 10 points is not enough for the Knicks right now. Any let up, Sixers come right back in here.
Very low number of turnovers committed by the Knicks. It counts. And the foul. So Starks was hacked. Hornacek called for the foul. John Starks has 28 points.
Well, John doing so well with that dribble, then jump shot move. This is the kind of move that Gerald Wilkins was haunted with, trying to develop, where he could shoot the ball off the dribble. Starks really showing it so well.
Last 7 games, John Starks averaging 24 points per game, shooting 51%. He led the Knicks in scoring in 4 of the last 7. But Patrick Ewing has come to life offensively. That counts, and a foul. And a technical foul has been called. Blackman called for his 5th. And a technical foul against the Sixers. It's on Hornacek. Now that's unusual. Jeff usually doesn't have much to say.
Hornacek with the move inside, committing the foul, as you can see, with the left hand.
Well, Blackman with the technical foul extends to a 100-88 lead. Meanwhile, Rolando Blackman with 5 personal fouls in this, his 900th career NBA game. And as we discussed earlier, has not fouled out of a game in the pros.
Only Will Chamberlain. Another look at that exclusive list of people who haven't fouled out. Only Will Chamberlain played 4 games without fouling out.
Now, Danny Young would have fooled me. You see,
You weren't up on Danny.
yeah, I felt for sure he fouled out several times. Here's Starks for 3. Mason on the rebound. Good protection of the ball by Anthony Mason, making search to get it to the right man. And we have an offensive foul call against the Knicks. Setting a screen down low, Rolando Blackman. And he's fouled out.
Oh, there must be a mistake.
Rolando Blackman has fouled out for the first time in his NBA career.
12 years of perfection, of being good, not having to leave because of fouls. Does Charles Oakley realize this? I don't think Charles realizes this. This is an unusual feeling in number 20.
Yes. Knicks 100, Sixers 89. Hornacek, he thought he was fouled on a 3-point attempt. And a tie-up. What a play by Rivers, although Hawkins did not agree. The Knicks defense in the second half has been superb.
Interesting, Marv, once again, Doc Rivers finishing a game in the 4th quarter in the Knicks point guard position.
However, Greg Anthony is also out there. Greg has played well tonight. And Pat Riley with Rolando Blackman now out on fouls, going with Anthony and Rivers and Starks. That was deflected out. Another Knick deflection. Just under 3 minutes remaining in the game. Rolando Blackman fouling out. First time in his NBA career, which tonight reached 900 games. Timeout called. We'll be back in a moment.
And we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3. There's 1,500 from the Lakers off the bench. And we'll say for...
See, that was so unnecessary. Because it was an accident that happened. There wasn't anything there where a guy is trying to hurt another guy.
Well, Rod Thorne, I know you're back watching.
Now we're going to show this to you. Now there's the steal, but the defender who made the steal falls into Devon. Now with the foot, you can see he's holding off. They're going to have a little. Now there comes the push from up on top.
We got a double technical foul.
Airlines. One airline can make a difference.
Remember, when you're having good times with friends, use good sense and drink responsibly, because friends know when to say when. A reminder from Budweiser.
And a reminder, the Knicks and Sixers will go at each other again. The scene will shift to Madison Square Garden in New York. We'll be on hand on MSG starting with Knicks game night at 7. Al Troutwood will be hosting, and I will be joined by, in an aberration, Walt Clyde Frazier, John, taking his 1 game off per season, visiting the Swiss bank, I believe, again, John?
Right.
Checking out
like
the
that.
account.
Yes, right.
And Clyde will be on hand full force as the thesaurus ready. Make the transition from radio to television.
We're going to drive home together tonight with the electronic wizard, so we'll get him ready.
Terrific defensive sequence once again by the Knicks, although the end result is a foul. It's called on Ewing. That's number 5 on Ewing.
The Sixers had 27 field goal attempts in the first half. Actually lower than that, Marv.
Look at that, 97 to 67.
But 67 is horrible. Boy, I remember when Doug Moe was with Denver, one of his philosophies was to get more shots up than the other team. I mean, they pumped that ball up, and this is shocking to see that low number.
So the Sixers shooting 45% and the Knicks 42, but it doesn't mean anything because the Knicks have taken 30 more shot attempts. Philly has made 10 more free throws. And the conclusion The Knicks lead by 9, 191. Time running down in this fourth quarter. Knicks running for their third straight win, trying to make it 5 of the last 7. Patrick Ewing. So Ewing has 34 points. He's 14 of 28. Starks had that baseline closed by Hornacek. Goes the other way for the open jump. Weatherspoon with the rebound.
I'm going to go out on a limb now, Marv. Patrick Ewing, strong candidate for NBA Player of the Week. The 3 performances he has presented.
You think you're going out on the limb there? Yes, that goes back to the game against Phoenix at the Garden on Monday. Strong game against Alonzo Mourning and the Charlotte Hornets Wednesday. 30 points, 11 for 20 shooting. And he has really turned it around offensively. He's saving between the legs. Here's Starks with the shot clock running down, and Bol rebounds. 1:25 remaining in the fourth. Knicks lead 102-91.
Knicks defense statistically standing up to their usual average.
Oh, get out of here with that one. Bol with a poor choice going for the 3. He did hit one in the first half. I don't think Doug Moe will have a sense of humor about that shot attempt.
Sixers are 18 points below their per-game scoring average right now.
Doug not happy. Well, this will be considered one of the Knicks' stronger games of the season. I know Pat Riley felt that way about the last 2. Rivers. But what Pat has to like, the low number of turnovers, the way the Knicks handle the ball, the way they've adjusted against a club that has played very well here at home.
And Marv, the key thing to support your point is that it's happening for the Knicks on the road, which has been so difficult for the Knicks this season.
Yes, they'll make it 8 up, 11 down on the road.
Personal foul, Johnny Dawkins, his first.
Dawkins called for the foul. 38 seconds to go.
One of the things that the Knicks also are relishing is that 6 of their next 7 opponents are teams that play thus far under 500. So it's a chance for them to really get something rolling.
Rick Anthony to the free throw line. Anthony with 4 points. As we have been mentioning, has played very well. Good floor game by Greg. Here's Greg Grant, who just checked in. Pass nearly picked off, and then it's thrown away. Another Sixer turnover.
Boy, the Sixers have deflated here in the closing moments of this game.
25 turnovers by Philadelphia. And we're down to 25 seconds remaining. And the Knick portion of the crowd responding to this strong effort. 15 seconds left. Starks for 3. Yes. John Starks hitting on his 4th three-pointer. The Knicks 109. The 76ers 91. 32 points for Starks. 34 for Ewing. And that will do it. The Knicks go to 24-14. They have won 3 straight, 5 of the last 7. And they've made it 2 out of 2 this season over the Philadelphia 76ers. Final score, the Knicks 109 and the Sixers 91. We'll be back to recap. Right after the Philadelphia 76ers 109-91. A host of outstanding efforts by the Knicks, but our NatWest Bank player of the game is Patrick Ewing. 34 points and 15 rebounds. A tough start against Manute Bol as he attempted to challenge Bol on several occasions and was turned back. Some early blocks by Bol, but then went to the jump shot and succeeded. Patrick Ewing finished 14 of 28 from the field. He did it against the combination of Bowl and Andrew Lang and had his way right throughout as the Knicks come away with the victory. We'll be back in a moment. Here's 109-91, so the Knicks, at least for the moment, 2 games in front of the Nets, who are involved in the fourth quarter, trailing the Atlanta Hawks. That can extend to a 2.5-game lead. One of the Knick heroes tonight, John Starks. Patrick Ewing was the high man with 34, but John Starks right there. What a stretch it's been for Starks. 32 points tonight for John. He started slowly, hit 3 of his first 12, finished 10 of 16, including 4 from 3-point range. And John Starks is alongside, I should say.
Thank you, Marv. I know you don't count the shot attempts, John, but at one point you were 3 for 12. Now, at that point, I mean, you know you're not hitting. How do you feel? What's going through your mind then?
I was feeling good on my shots. They just wasn't falling for me. I knew sooner or later that it was going to start to fall for me. I just kept shooting the ball.
John, for the last 8 games now, it's been a shade under 25 points a game. What does that do to your head? Are you expecting to hit those numbers now nightly?
Well, you know, I just come out and just play the game. And if I'm feeling good that night, the shot's going to fall for me. It was just amazing that I was getting a lot of good looks at the basket tonight. And the guys was looking for me, and they were setting some good picks for me.
Is the difference in the offense now that the ball is moving quicker?
I think it is, especially against a team like this. You have to make them play defense, and guys came out and did a great job in the second half and moving the ball and making them work on defense. They're the type of team who like to get the ball and just get out real quick. They want you to come down and heist the shot up and within about 10 seconds so they can get back on the offensive end, and we did a great job of moving the ball and finding an open man tonight.
John, you're shooting that 3-point shot so fluidly. You were 4 for 8 tonight. What's the key to the long-range shot? Is it the wrist or the legs?
Mainly the legs. You try to get as much momentum going to the basket as possible, and it just form. I think when I'm farther out, I have better form than when I'm in close. So you know, it's just all about your legs and your form.
What is the presence? Does the presence of Manute Bol do to you on offense?
He gets in the lane and he makes you change your shots. I thought coming down on a fast break that I was going to take it over the top. I keep kidding with him. One of these times in my career, I'm going to dunk on him. And, you know, he's the type of player that can create havoc down there in the paint.
Speaking about dunking, John, there is one opening, you know, in the NBA Slam Dunk Contest on All-Star Weekend. Are you interested?
No, I'm going to spend some time with my family. I'm going to take this time off to spend some time with them because the season up to this point has been long. I haven't had enough time to spend time with my family, so I'm going to take them 4 days and rest up and enjoy my family.
Okay, John, the way things are going, it will be a well-deserved rest. Congratulations on another, this is 8 in a row now for you, John, another excellent game, and you and your teammates, and thanks for coming out.
Well, thank you, John.
Okay, John Starks, one of the stars of this one, and now let's go back to Marv Albert.
And Starks, 32 points, 13 of 28 from the field overall. Patrick Ewing and John Starks combining in the second half to outscore the 76ers 43-40.
Tonight, 109-91, holding Dominique Wilkins to only 38 points. So New Jersey trails the first-place Knicks now by 2.5 games in the NBA Atlantic Division. These others either completed or underway so far in the NBA tonight. Phoenix has gotten back on the winning track after those 2 straight losses to start their current road trip. With Charles Barkley returned to the lineup from his 1-game suspension, the Suns win at Washington 122-115. Miami trying to avoid a 4th straight loss, hanging on to a narrow 2-point lead at Orlando in the 4th quarter. Charlotte has also lost 4 straight. They're playing the Bulls tonight, 51-51 halftime. Detroit losing at San Antonio by 6 at halftime. The Spurs have won 7 straight games. The Lakers playing at Utah in the 4th quarter. The Jazz lead by 2. There are 3 others in the league tonight, and we'll run down a complete list of scores for you on our full half-hour edition of the MSG Sports Desk tonight at 11 o'clock. In hockey at the Meadowlands Arena, Bobby Holik's 3 first-period goals still standing up for the Devils as they lead by a score of 4-2 over the Montreal Canadiens. He feels he is ready now to emerge and rejoin the PGA Tour, which he intends to do next week for golf's Phoenix Open. The tour this week in Tucson. We'll have highlights of that coming up on our half-hour show at 11 o'clock. Mike Quick joins us for his weekly report on women in sports, Mets interviews, and much more. Hope you can be here for our half-hour show again, 11 o'clock tonight. We're back to Philadelphia in just a moment.
From 17 doesn't get it. Campbell high for the rebound. That'll be a loose ball foul. We're in the Delta Center in Salt Lake City in the fourth.
The king of beers, the only beer with the taste as genuine as the people who drink it. Nothing beats a Bud.
And the Bud dunk of the game.
None other than Patrick Ewing playing a major role in this game, and of course finishing it now with the Bud dunk of the game.
So Patrick Ewing leading the way with his 34 as we check out the leading scorers summary, brought to you by your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealers. Only one Jeep, and it's only at your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealers. Ewing with 34, Starks with 32, Blackman had 12, 9 for Rivers, 8 for Oakley. While the Philadelphia 76ers, led by Jeff Hornacek, who hit for 23, 18 apiece for Weatherspoon and Hawkins. Knicks shot 45%. A lot of shots, 102 in all. 45 for 102. Philly at 34-75. Now a look at a classic play, which is brought to you by Coca-Cola Classic. Enjoy all the Knicks excitement with Coca-Cola Classic. Can't beat the real thing. And with a distorted sense of the game, our staff, headed by the electronic wizard Howie Singer and director Bob Lewis, tagging the classic play of the game, foul number 6 committed by Rolando Blackman, who has fouled out for the very first time in his illustrious NBA career. That tonight hit the 900 mark. We showed you the list earlier. Wilt Chamberlain leading the way, going his entire career without fouling out. Rolando Blackman was number 2. A little adjustment has been made. Rolando off the list. He is bye-bye. Danny Young moves up, right? John Battle.
Welcome, John Battle. Yes.
Yes, the staff working overtime on this one. We'll be back in a moment. Coming up next, it'll be the Sports View interview with Ann.
Makes them both. Worthy tonight, 15 points. Of course, last year, James Worthy.
To 4 run late in the third period. John Starks for a couple of his 32 on the night. And how about Rolando Blackman? His 900th regular season game, he fouls out for the first time ever. The Knicks win it 109-91. Now let's go back to Ron and Hubie at the Delta Center.
Thank you, Ernie. There's
And, yeah, coaching prevailed again. You know, there was no talent on it.
Hey, but you know what, though? You were a little nervous about it. You had to win the gold or out.
Yeah, it was a foregone conclusion that we were going to win it, and it turned out that way because of the talent. But, you know, strange things happen. The collegiate hockey team beats the USSR in hockey for the gold medal. We've had upsets in collegiate basketball of great magnitude. Villanova over Georgetown. It was impossible. So you had to be concerned about it. I warned the players that first meeting we would not be able to return to this country. We would be outcasts at some island off the coast of Spain had we not been able to win it. So, but they knew exactly what they were doing.
What was the toughest part of it? The security problems, handling the egos. Is there anything that stands out in your mind as being perhaps the most challenging aspect of coaching a group of guys?
I think the most difficult was getting strokes from Jordan on the golf course because he doesn't give up much, you know, but and Rod Thorne. But no, there were some moments. The security was a little bit more that people would like to know about because they had some incidents of you know, some deaths before we arrived there. They had 8 deaths, and there was some concerns, and we upped the security dramatically during the course of that, and I was curious why, and I found out why. So that was one aspect of it. The second was doling out minutes. You know, I mean, you've got every one of these guys that want to play 40 minutes in each one of those games, and they're used to playing in a game that has 48 minutes. Well, I had to spread it out. As it turned out, we didn't use a clock, but it was very, very close. 17 minutes, 18 minutes, 70 minutes, except for Jordan. And only because we lost 2 guards to injury, Stockton and Magic, did that happen. And in fact, Michael, you know, accepted his role, but they were all terrific, and they knew what we had to do.
How close did you get to Magic?
We talked a few times on the phone prior to the Olympics. He had some very good suggestions about creating an atmosphere. I think the best one I got was probably from him. He said, you know, we got to do other things together because there's going to be some wounds, some scars, some jealousies. We've got to bring this team together on a social basis, and then that'll take care of on the floor. That's kind of, in its own way, what happened. Some guys played golf, but they hung out together, they played cards together. So it worked out very well in terms of all that. But Magic is a true leader. He's got
He suggested that you kind of get that break and do other things together.
Exactly. He has great leadership qualities.
Were you shocked when he said he was going to retire from playing?
Yeah, I was. You know, because he had trained so hard for the Olympics, during the Olympics, and even in September I was in California, and they had a floating game out there, which he pretty much maneuvered of about 20 to, 22 professional players getting ready for the season. They'd jump from school to school so that the media couldn't track them down. Well, I happened to go one day to practice and saw how hard they were working. Then all of a sudden, bang, to up and leave. But, he had his own reasons. And
Your business expenses.
I didn't think he really needed to come back and go through all of the media attention at every stop. As of right now, he's off the skyline. I think he probably misses it, but I think he's a little bit happy about it.
Absolutely, and the performance during the Dream Team, I mean, that was a great way to kind of, say goodbye as far as his playing career goes.
Exactly. He and Bert, Larry decided there that I think in the back of his mind that was it for him. And, they'll have, they talk about, well, are they going to do it again? Yeah, they'll have other great teams. If you put together, the team would be different already from a year ago. A lot of guys that made it perhaps a year ago wouldn't make it the following year. But you've got all these, the Mornings, Shaquille O'Neal, Derek Coleman, Kenny Anderson, all these young players coming along. They'll have other great teams. And it'll be easy next time because they don't have to qualify. They can go together for 5 or 6 days, play 2 weeks in Atlanta, it's over. If, in fact, they want to go the professional route. But there won't be quite the same mystique because, you had the legendary people of Bird, Magic, Jordan. It was a very special.
With the kid, yeah. From the Senior Bowl, the catch of the year. And he holds on. How about some plays that will leave you hypnotized? Hypnotized. In a state of hypnotized. I mean, one-of-a-kind plays that'll blow your mind. Things you've never seen before, kind of like this guy. How many shots do the Cal Bears get before they finally make a bucket? That's 2.
Right.
That's 3.
Yeah.
That's 4.
Yeah.
That's 5.
Yeah.
Well, that's all they got. 5.
Still didn't make it.
Still didn't make it. All right. We kind of got behind here. Let's pick it up. I hate it when that happens. That was Alfonso Ellis. All right, some plays that will, actually, you won't believe them unless you see them with somebody else's eyes. First runner-up pass of the week, Bobby Hurley of Duke. Nice pass. Pass of the week, right here. Bobby Hurley again, just like he planned it.
Very nice.
Hammer time, which means it's time for the shot of the week. Vernon Maxwell, reverse hang, going away, puts it in. Jerry McCullough on the run, having fun from half court. Dominique Wilkins with his version of the hesitation slam. And not the gorilla, but the gorilla with his version of the hesitation slam. Missed it by that much. Those are the plays of the week. Have a nice weekend.
That's all it takes. What's Tom McDonald having sports extra?
Tom McDonald is going to be talking about the upcoming Super Bowl, of course. He's going to talk about the Knicks and their great defense and how they've been playing well. And I'll be there to help him answer the phones. We'll be taking live phone calls.
All right. Look forward to it. All right. Thanks very much, Carl. Finally, from Miles City, Montana. The phone book has the wrong number in it for the Coca-Cola bottling plant there. It's 1 digit off. Just enough so that when you dial, you get a seductive female voice talking about hot, sexy girls willing to fulfill your every fancy. Coke official there says the mistake won't make our customers too happy. No, but it might make them thirsty. And that's our report for tonight. I'm John Rowland. Thanks for being with us tonight. Have a terrific weekend.
Wonderful weekend. Thanks for joining us. Sports Tonight is up next.
Hey, everybody, look out for Charles Barkley. Remember Sherry Lewis? Well, there's Lamb Shot. How about the guy in Indianapolis who could juggle balls while bouncing balls and playing the piano at the same time? Mighty impressive. How about Kevin McHale, frustrated quarterback, connecting on a sideline route with Bango in Milwaukee? How about Scottie Pippen? He's out of bounds. But in the clutches of the love of Bulls, he just doesn't seem to mind very much. And back to our tricksters as advertised. The guy with the ball on a stick stuck it. The lady juggler kind of hammered it. And the 2 close guys managed to balance things out. And a good time was had by all. Hey, well, you know, it was there.
That NBA Jam Posse thing?
Yeah.
I'd stay with that. That's pretty good.
Well, it is. It is. I like that. It's unique.
Sunday on TNT. Fun with the Wind in its entirety. No breaks. Oh, basketball-wise.
12 hours
Yeah,
long,
so just sit back and relax.
Always, we've got a busy night in NBA action, and it looks like finally the Jazz are getting their house in order, one might say.
Perfectly put. Utah used to be a lock at home, but the Jazz started the season easy prey in the Delta Center. Well, they got that straightened out in a hurry and became a monster at home again. And tonight in Salt Lake, the Jazz made it 13 straight at home when they shook off the stubborn and slumping Lakers. To the Delta Center. Second quarter, John Stockton steals, break ahead to Mike Brown. Nice pass. He had 18 assists, Stockton. Jazz by 3. Late in the half, another sweet pass. Larry Krystkowiak down to Karl Malone. Malone had 27 points, 18 rebounds. Still in the first half, Lakers on the break. Eldon Campbell ahead to Byron Scott. He released Pistons. And welcome to everybody. Terry Mills rejected by Big Dave. Sean Elliott ahead to Avery Johnson for the layup. That's transition ball. Vinny Del Negro, the other guy playing some point for the Spurs. Tough driving layup. Gets the touch hoop there, and a tough one. Spurs by 3. Joe Dumars now will miss. Robinson the rebound. He'll drag it down to Avery Johnson. Here's the quick outlet on the break. The trailer is Dale Ellis. Ron Rothstein's club is just a shell of what it used to be, especially with Dennis Rodman injured. The Pistons go down again, and the Spurs and John Lucas look positively awesome. Former San Antonio coach Jerry Tarkanian says he may have suffered a slight heart attack in recent weeks while he was still coaching the Spurs. Tarkanian said he had chest pains during a game in November and again a couple of weeks ago. Doctors say it could be from a virus, but Tarkanian said he won't be taking any kind of job this year. He added he's yet to be paid any of the $1.3 million remaining on his 3-year Spurs contract. Bob?
Well, Charles Barkley knows a little something about lack of payments. He was back in action tonight for Phoenix after sitting out a game without pay and being slapped with a $10,000 fine by the league for chasing an official. Tonight, all Charles and the Suns did was chase down the Bullets, whose fans no doubt appreciated the fact that they would get to see Barkley play. Something of a Charles tribute. Then the mascots with a tribute to his chasing the official, only this time, the prey goes down and is chewed up. Third quarter, Harvey Grant. He was the... not the victim there, definitely the steal, the dunk at the other end. The Bullets leading by 3. Later in the fourth, Bullets going inside. Tom Gugliotta feeding a cutting Larry Stewart for the layup and the foul, but things would start to go Phoenix's way. Barkley, pump fake, and then he drives and hits the off-balance jumper. Great move. Barkley with 21 points tonight. The Suns built an 8-point lead, and then later Kevin Johnson driving, feeding Richard Dumas for the slam. Dumas, the big guy for the Suns tonight with 26 points. Look at Robin Ficker. He's just giving a little veg to Charles Barkley. I'm sorry, that's Barkley. In Phoenix's 122-115 win, Barkley comes back with 9 of 11 shooting after his one-game layoff. 21 points outdone by Dumas with the 26. That win snapping the Suns' 2-game losing streak, and it's their 10th in a row over Washington. By the way, when the Bullets met the Pacers Tuesday night, it wasn't always pretty. The NBA today slapped Purvis Ellison with a $3,500 fine for throwing that punch at Rick Smits, while the Indiana forward was tagged $1,000 for shoving Ellison. 2 other Bullets and 7 Pacers were each fined $500 for leaving the bench during the incident. It sounds pretty one-sided to me, Nick.
Well, the Bullets said today again the only reason they let Bernard King go yesterday was age. King is 36 and had been out 16 months rehabbing his knee. He had remained removed from the team, so when he showed up for practice New Year's Day, the Bullets were stunned. King harshly criticized the club then for not deciding on what to do with him, and then got into a shoving and shouting match with coach Wes Unseld. Bad idea, who was asked today if that confrontation had anything to do with letting Bernard go.
We're dealing with very highly emotional and rightly so egotistical individuals, including myself. So those things are expected. There were no grudges at all held because of some of the things that are said and done. This happens every day in practice. Guys fight out here on the court and go out to lunch right afterwards, so nothing is held personally.
He had not played in a year and a half, so it's not like he would come in there and then drastically things would change.
Well, some team members were surprised by the action, but admit the atmosphere is less tense without King. King says his knee's fine and he's free to sign with any team that's interested, but he really seemed to alienate himself, just working out alone, never reporting in for all those months. But he was such a plus for so many years for the Bullets.
And you got to think that there's somebody out there who thinks that ego and that emotion can be turned into a positive.
They could harness that in. Out to Harold Miner, though. He was right there. The follow slam, Heat down by 7 at the half, though. Anthony Bowie spots Shaquille O'Neal breaking free. get out of the way of that freight train. The alley-oop. Magic by 1 after 3. The Heat, Glenn Rice with a turnaround J. He had 31. Later, Kevin Edwards picks Scott Skiles' pocket. The break, the dish to Grant Long, and Matt Gucka says this baby is down the drain. The Heat go on to beat the Magic in the Florida rivalry, 110 to 104.
Well, the Sixers have been on a roll, and we're looking for a little payback tonight against New York after the Knicks clamped the lid on them earlier this season, held them to just 85 points in a loss. Well, Philly, this is good news. They did score more tonight, but once again, it wasn't enough. New York had just too much. Although Patrick Ewing didn't have quite enough on that, Manute Bol gets it out of there. And then the Sixers later use the legs. They're running. Armin Gilliam then. The nice feed. It's alley-oop, spotting Tim Perry for the easy 2. Sixers building an early 1-point lead. Later in the second, though, how about this? Not the 3, Manute. Oh, something's going right for Philly, huh? In fact, they brought a 3-game winning streak into this, but Patrick said enough is enough. Later in the second quarter, throws it down. Sixers lead by just 1 at the break, and then New York really turns it up in the third. John Starks outside. That's the 3. New York building a 3-point lead, part of an 18-4 run to end the third. Here we go. Greg Anthony ahead to Starks, all alone for the deuce. The Knicks run away with it finally, 109 to 91. Ewing coming up big with the 34. Starks nearly as big with 32 as New York wins for the 5th time in 7 games. And check this out. Rolando Blackman fouled out for the first time in his career. This is his 12th NBA season. Atlanta hosting the New Jersey Nets. If they can find Shammy to that, I want that ball nice and clean for the game. After trailing by 8, Hawks go on a nice run, 11-0 spurt. Stacey Ogman follows up Neek's miss. And then Neek, well, he wasn't missing too much tonight. Rick Mahorn, though, would. Misses the shorty. The Hawks go on the run. Steve Henson giving it up to Dominique for the slam. And the Hawks up by 6. And kind of makes them feel like dancing, but they leave it up to the kid. Later, Neek blowing by Derek Coleman. Splits 2 more defenders and throws it in. 14 points for Neek in a decisive 4th quarter as Atlanta runs away with it 109 to 91. Neek showing the way with 38 points as Atlanta hands New Jersey a 2nd straight loss after the Nets had won 5 in a row.
You are with so gallantly streaming, and the Rockets red flag. Uh-oh.
See, I like that. Yeah. Editorial comment right in the middle of his own song. That's good. That's sports.
Thank you.
Ever tried to hit that note?
You've never tried to hit it?
No.
What's going to happen when we come back?
When we come back, you could say he was left home alone. We'll tell you why Sox, the first cat, isn't with his family. Stay tuned.
Tonight, they repay the Canadians with a 6-2 win. Bobby Halik scored 3 times in the first period. This goal capped off the hat trick off the slapper. The 2 teams combined for a Meadowlands record 164 penalty minutes. That's Denny Savard flattening Vyacheslav Fetisov. Then Jersey's defenseman looks for revenge. Savard with the stick. Now watch this brutal spear by Fetisov. Both players can expect fines and suspensions as the NHL tries to clean up its act. And Marge Schott talked to Baseball Executive Committee, and we're waiting on possible word about that.
Stick in the face. That's Channel 2 News for this Friday night. I'm Jim Jensen.
And I'm Michelle Marsh. Stay tuned next.
Through 3 Orlando defenders. Magic's lead was down to 1. Bowie hits the J, down to 2 when Shaq goes inside to tie the game at 102. Heat up now. Less than a minute remaining, and the ball gets away from Donald Royal. And Kevin Lockery's team, after being denied in overtime so many times in this road trip, come up with a huge one in their own state as they go up the road and win in Orlando. They're now 9-4 lifetime against the Magic with the 110-104 win tonight. On to the Delta Center we go after a big night for Glenn Rice, who had 31 points and 10 rebounds. Lakers opening a 6-game road trip in the Rockies. Karl Malone gets it off to a rocky start for L.A. Stockton had 11 assists in the first half, setting up that hoop there. Then threading the lane, Anthony Peeler also had a big first half, had 8 points. Vlade Divac just using Brown. Lakers by 3 after the first quarter. Then in the second, the Jazz bench answers. Jay Humphries waiting out in the wing, nobody near him. He had 9 in the first half, but it's a 1-point game. Vlade Divac trying to take on the entire Jazz team. And then when the action continued, Stockton didn't need to assist anyone, takes it himself, goes to the hole. Magic Johnson remembering what it's like to lead a team from the point. James Worthy giving an assist to Jay Humphries to the hoop as he blew right by him. Then Stockton, the no-look dish, and it's Kristoviak putting the Jazz up by as many as 8. Then the little soft leaner by Jeff Malone, who had 20. combining with Carl for 47 in the game as the Jazz win it. Malone also had 18 rebounds in the 4-point victory as they both came in on back-to-back losses. The Jazz have now won 13 in a row in the Delta Center. The Lakers have lost 5 out of their last 6. In progress, the LA's neighbors, the Clips, in their arena, and the Cavs continuing a very successful road trip. They're going after their 4th straight win. They are 15-4 over their past 19, and they have a big 8-point lead in the second quarter. In the Oakland Coliseum, they have just gone to the half. The Sonics down by a bucket, coming in a half a game back of the Suns for the league's best record. The Warriors standing at the break-even point coming in after losing by 10 in Seattle in their earlier meeting.
Gary, meanwhile, Charles Barkley, fresh from his one-game suspension by the NBA, back in the lineup for the Phoenix Suns tonight in Landover, Maryland, taking on the Bullets. Let's go to Landover, see what happened. Washington's message tonight, newsflash. Clinton pardons Sir Charles. Maybe it'll take that. And the ball heads there to welcome Barkley and hoping to spark the Bullets past the Suns. First half, Charles, though, was dishing it out. Charles hits Richard Dumas for the slam. Suns up 4. Danny Ainge, the hot hand, nails one of his 4 3-pointers in the first half. Suns by 2 at the half. Wes Unseld, the Bullet coach, trying to get some help from the refs. Wasted effort. Second half, the Bullets clamp down on Charles. Draw the double team here from Gugliotta and Buck Johnson. Can't get anything done. More defense. Barkley's pass stolen by Harvey Grant. Guess what he's going to do with it? More Bullets. Tom Gugliotta to Larry Stewart from Coppin State. The basket and the foul. Bullets up 4. But Richard Dumas, remember this name, KJ to Dumas for the slam dunk. Then Dumas again. Quick first step right by Rex Chapman. Big third quarter for Dumas. Barkley, meanwhile, was big at the other end. Now, Charles would like to tell you he can shoot the 3. He really can't shoot it well, but even a blind man now and then. And Robin Ficker says, look, Charles, you want some broccoli? It's good for your eyesight. Well, anyway, Washington loses to Phoenix 122 to 115. Barkley not bad after the one-game suspension, as you see. The Bulls broke back home from the Meadowlands to host the Charlotte Hornets. And let's take a look at this from the stadium. Rocket Ismail attending the game, hoping for a fast-paced game. The Hornets fast break. Muggsy Bogues hits Kendall Gill for the slam. And his teammates like it. That tied the game at 40. The Hornets a little bit lazy after the jam. Horace Grant out in front for the jam. Bulls take the lead. Morning, Alonzo trying to set the tone early. Partially blocks Michael Jordan. Then Georgetown's David Wingate with the incredible 360 lay-in. But Will Perdue gets a great pass to Scottie Pippen for the in-your-face over Morning. Muggsy Bogues makes the steal here to Kendall Gill, to Larry Johnson. Alley-oop for Gill for the slam dunk. Tied at the half. Second half. Morning's going to come easy. Michael drives the lane. Morning fouls him and smiles at the cameraman. Take my picture. Muggsy always creating, hits Larry Johnson underneath for the slam dunk. And then the Hornets start to pull away. Bogues to Larry Johnson. The Hornets up 8. Pippen tries to take it strong, but blocked by Alonzo. Had 9 blocks in the game. This leads to a Larry Johnson break. There it is. Scottie Pippen, meanwhile, tries again and gets it this time. Bulls down by 6, but Muggsy Bogues seals it. Little guy nails the jumper. Hornets win 105 to 97. Chicago's 6th home loss of the season. They lost only 5 at home all of last year. Michael Jordan held, if you want to call it that, to 28 points in that game. Sacramento and Portland, this game is underway. This is the Knicks and the Sixers. We're going to go to this? Yes, we are. Manute Bol, you see, the Sixers going for their 7th win in a row at home. And Manute gets a good start, rejecting Patrick once, then rejecting Ewing again. 3 blocks for Bol in the first quarter. He says, look, Jack Madden, this is how I do it. Rookie Clarence Weatherspoon gets in on the act. He tags John Starks right there. Then Manute Bol again, and John Starks, he says, get that stuff out of here. 13 blocks for the Sixers. Did it help? Now, Doc Rivers, good. End of the quarter. Yes, and it counts for 3. Sixers on the break. Hyman Gilliam to Tim Perry for the slam. Oh, well, this is that shot again. Look at this. Nothing but net from about 3/4 court. I knew we'd see that again. Here we go. Tim Perry for the slam. Then Manute Bol. He shoots a 3 and makes it. First of the year. Wonders will never cease. End of the half. Ewing steals. This is terrible from a Philly point of view. That should never happen. Ewing had 34 in the night. Second half, John Starks takes over the game. Tim Perry in the drive, loses it. Greg Anthony picks his pocket, finds Starks all alone. And then John Starks, who also likes to shoot the 3 and can do it a bit better than Barkley. He had 32 in the game. Pat Riley and the Knicks have beaten the Sixers 4 times in a row now. Ewing 34 points, 15 boards. Starks had 32 for the Knicks as well. Sixers' 6-game home winning streak was beaten and broken by the New York Knicks rather easily. Well, just when Sixers coach Doug Moe has his team playing respectable basketball of late, comes news that he may have to leave the team for up to a month. Moe is considering surgery to replace a
Mullen is on the beat.
Is New York for real? They're first in defense, but they're the only division leader who has a losing record on the road. Indiana President Donnie Walsh says if you stand up to them physically, they'll wilt defensively. One Eastern Conference player calls them a bunch of scared rabbits. And Phil Jackson says they're just too old. And why can't they score points? Is it because they are so tired from playing that frenetic defense they can't lift their arms at the end of the game? Patrick Ewing had 106 blocks through 37 games last season. This year, he has 67. His chronically sore knees have bothered him, but Ewing also points to the Knicks trapping scheme, which draws him away from the basket. Richard Dumas has stolen the starting small forward spot from Cedric Ceballos in Phoenix. Dumas's former drug counselor, John Lucas, said he's Dr. J with a jump shot and predicts he will be a 1996 Dream Team member if he stays clean. The Suns are winning, but they're not standing pat. They offered San Antonio Nigel Knight for Sean Elliott, but insisted on throwing in Gerard Mustaf as part of the package. The Spurs said no thanks. Ex-Mavs coach Richie Adubato could have signed a 5-year deal with Villanova shortly after Mike Fratello turned down the same job. But he was worried if he left, the Mavericks would end up with either Shaquille O'Neal or Alonzo Mourning. And if that happened, said Adubato, I would have shot myself. Houston guard Sleepy Floyd drew a DNP coach's decision against New York last week, breaking his streak of 388 consecutive games, second in the NBA behind A.C. Green. Michael Jordan said he'd rather be golfing All-Star Weekend, and the only good thing about the game being in Utah was that it was close to Las Vegas. A Salt Lake City radio station took offense, and they will picket Jordan at the airport and at his hotel when the Bulls come to town February 1st. Their signs have a simple message. Take a hike, Mike. On the NBA beat, I'm Jackie McMullen, ESPN.
You knew that wagging tongue of Jordan's would eventually get him in trouble, and I think Richie Adubato may still want to shoot himself.
I know. Yes, I think so. I tell you what, I don't know if Michael Jordan can contain his anxiety when those mobs gather outside his hotel room telling him to take a hike. Well, late NBA is coming up later on in the show, but in a few moments, a sad tale from the world of Major League Baseball. One of the greatest second basemen ever, a Hall of Famer, passes away. We'll have that detail in a moment.